you. Let's see. When is the SCA reset date?
January the 10th.
Thank you. And where would you all like to start this afternoon?
Your Honor, you can start at ACDC.
Okay. And who do we have?
We have position number 8.
And this is Ms. Ross. Can you hear me, Ms. Ross?
Yes.
Good afternoon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Ross, you have been charged in case 22 CR 008517C with theft by shoplifting. Afternoon, Mr. Howard. Is there a history?
Ninth arrest, last was in Georgia, last arrest was 2013. Obstruction dismissed. 2012 shoplifting arrest. 2012 failure to appear for a suspended license. Got history out of Alabama. 2017 drug trafficking and stolen identity. Another 2017 arrest for trafficking ID, larceny. 2015 fraud, illegal use of credit cards, and a 2015 identity theft fraud. Those are open in Alabama. That's it.
Still, hope you're well.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I hope you had a nice holiday. Your Honor, the facts of the matter in this case occurred on December 26th. The defendant stole a hat worth $395 from a Saks Fifth Avenue located at 3340 Peachtree Street. And the defendant was caught on camera committing this act. As pretrial mentioned, there is a long history, so we are going to ask for a $1,500 signature bond and a stay away order from the Saks at 3340 Peachtree Street.
A signature bond, Ms. Dillingham?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Let's see, who's representing Ms. Ross?
This is actually a conflict case. I believe a conflict attorney is not here yet, but I'm sure she does not object to the signature on bond.
Okay. Who else do we have represent so that I know, so that we don't go through a whole soliloquy without having the attorney here? Which other cases are not your cases, Ms. Kim?
It will be McCrary, Page, Ross, and Wiggies.
I'm sorry, Ms. Ross. We'll come back to you when your attorney is available. Ms. McLeod, hold on. Let me see if Ms. McLeod's coming on.
There she is.
Ms. McLeod, this is Ms. Ross. Is this your client? Ms. McLeod?
She disappeared.
Okay. Could someone type Ms. McLeod a message for me to say that we're ready for her when she's ready? And let me just give her just a moment.
Sorry, I was just trying to log in. I was talking with one of my clients at the South Annex, but I'm done now. And I'm
okay,
ready.
Thank you. Ms. McLeod, this is Ms. Ross. Is this your client?
Yes.
The state is recommending a signature bond, a $1,500 signature bond. It's going to go through the jail and stay away from 3340 Peachtree Street. Do you have any objection to any of that?
I have no objection to any of that, Your Honor.
Okay, then it'll be so. Good luck to you, Ms. Ross. You're going to receive a signature bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position number 3, Your Honor.
All right, this is a hold number 3.
Yes, sir.
Ms.
From
Hughley.
SAP.
Yes, from the SAP. Was anyone able to get in touch?
No, sir, we tried again, about 15 minutes ago and still no answer.
Okay, I'm so sorry, Ms. Hughley. We can't raise I was hoping that we could get your counsel on. What I'm going to do as such is that I'm going to reschedule you for Thursday, the 29th, so that he can be present with us. I was hoping that we'd be able to get him on this afternoon. So we'll see you back on the 29th, Ms. Hughley.
Okay, thank you.
Judge, which calendar is that gonna go on?
That's going to go on the SAP calendar.
Okay.
Ms. Hughley was on the SAP calendar this morning. She's Mr. Murphy's client. We were trying to get in touch with Mr. Murphy. Therefore, I put it on the SEA calendar for this afternoon to see if we could get in touch with him. Apparently, we have not been able to. So I want her to be seen at SAP as soon as possible, which is why I want to put it on the Thursday calendar.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay. Who do we have next?
Your Honor, we're gonna go to the Alpharetta Jail next. Go to Alpharetta.
Okay, and who do we have at the Alpharetta Jail?
It should be Mr. Strickland or Mr. Worthy. I'm just waiting for them to bring the defendants to the camera.
Okay.
But in the meantime, while they're doing that, Your Honor, we can go to position number one, Mr. Gilbert.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Gilbert. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Sure. Thank you. Mr. Gilbert, you've been charged in case 22 CR 008492D with loitering and prowling, giving false information to law enforcement, possession and use of a drug-related object, and criminal attempt to commit a misdemeanor. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Judge, I don't have that file.
Okay, Ms. Sorry, good afternoon. Do you have the history?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I do have a limited history here. I have at least 32 cycles. He has 3 out of Alabama. I have a 2020 flight and escape, a probation violation in 2020 for ag assault. He has a 2021 larceny auto that appears to be open. For Georgia, I have his history as a 2019 probation violation. This is just the last 3 years. A probation violation for a terroristic threat, theft by taking, ag assault, a 2019 FTA for criminal trespass, another 2020 probation violation. And I see an obstruction charge, giving false name from 2020 as well, and a 2021 fugitive from justice. Your Honor, briefly, the facts of this case is that at 516 Wimbledon, that's Wimbledon Road in Atlanta, the defendant was seen on camera approaching the incident location and pulling on the doors of the home, attempting to gain entry. He, of course, is not the owner of this home, and he was not a guest. Officers responded to this incident location. They saw the defendant, where he admitted he did not live there. And when asked his name, the defendant gave Michael Stevens, which we know that that is not his correct name. He gave 2 different date of births, that's 10/12/96 and 10/16/89. And the defendant also had 2 glass pipes on his person and smelled of marijuana. Your Honor, due to the history, the fact that he does present a risk of reoffending, he is a flight risk. He has that history out of Alabama. The state's recommendation is an $8,000 surety bond. That's $2,000 on each count, a stay away, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Nothing further.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Gilbert is 33 years old, Your Honor. He is qualified for public defender's services because of his self-employment that is not doing well in terms of his business. He has been working as an electrician for last whole year, and it has not been going well. And he also has, before that, he worked as a warehouse worker. 14 years in Georgia. He's been here in Georgia, and he is single. He has 3 children, all under 18 years old, 12, 14, 16. However, he does not reside with them. And yet he does have a very financial hardships at this point. We would like to request for a signature on bond. And if your honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond because of the histories, we would like to request a maximum $1,000, 250 good bond for each charge. Thank you.
All right, it's gonna be a $250 good bond per each charge. Make it $1,000 good bond. Stay away from the Wimbledon Road address. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Gilbert. Are we gonna go back to the Alpharetta jail now?
Yes, you can go to Alpharetta, Your Honor.
Okay, and who do we have?
Vincent Strickland.
Good afternoon, Mr. Strickland. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court. Good afternoon, sir. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Strickland, you've been charged in case 22 CR 008520F with theft by shoplifting. Mr. Howard, is there a history?
Just 8th arrest. Last arrest was in 07, probation violation. Before that was 04, suspended license.
Okay. Ms. Dillingham?
Yes, Your Honor. This case occurred on June 15th, 2022, where officers responded to a Circle K located at 3955 Old Milton Parkway. This defendant had entered the Circle K gas station when it was busy and took multiple beer bottles out of the cases and put them in his pockets. This actually occurred on 3 different days, according to the witness. The first date occurred on June 11th, where he took 6 bottles. The second date, June 13th, where he took 4 bottles. And then the third date, June 15th, 4 bottles. Because this defendant kept going to this address, we are going to ask for a $1,500 signature bond, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol, and a stay away order from the Circle K at 3955 Old Milton.
Any objection to any of that, Ms. Kim?
No objection, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Strickland, you're getting a signature bond, but you must make sure that you show up for your next hearing date, okay?
How would I know what date? They will
You'll get notification and of your next hearing date. Ms. Kim will keep you. Is he going to qualify for your services, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your
Okay.
Honor.
So Ms. Kim will keep you, or her office will keep you informed also, Mr. Strickland. Okay.
What was the amount of that bond?
It's a $1,500 signature bond through the jail.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, Mr. Strickland?
So the signature bond, I can leave here to the jail?
Well, if you're getting a signature bond through this court, I don't know what you're at the Alpharetta jail for, but for this theft by shoplifting, you're getting a signature bond for.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day,
Thank you,
sir.
Ms. Kim. Your Honor, we go to position number 2, Mr. Cornell Griffith.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Griffith. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Griffith, you've been charged in case 22 CR 008519J with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
I counted about 79 between Minnesota, Illinois, and Nevada. on probation in Minnesota for burglary in the third. Got a burglary conviction out of Nevada as well. Anything in specific you would like to know?
Does he have a Georgia history?
Nah, I think that's his first Georgia arrest.
And any arrests in the last 5 years?
Oh yeah, definitely. November 2021 out of Vegas, fugitive from another state. February 2022, that was a burglary, grand larceny conviction out of Vegas. July 2022, petty larceny conviction. The rest of the history come out of Minnesota.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Howard. Ms. Sari?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place at Walgreens, located at 25 Peachtree Street in Atlanta. Officers responded to this incident location and saw that the defendant had been detained by security. The officer spoke with the security officer, and he stated that the defendant had been previously given a trespass warning from the incident location about 2 months prior for shoplifting. And when the defendant's name was ran, it did reveal several active warrants in Minnesota. As we've heard the history from pretrial, he does present a risk of reoffending, 79 cycles. Your Honor,
We always in the banner.
Alpharetta Joe, if you can mute for us.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. You're fine, thank you. I'm sorry, Ms. Sari, go ahead.
yes, Your Honor, and he also presents the risk of flight, being that he has the history out of Nevada, Minnesota. The state's recommendation in this case is to keep the bond as it already is set. It's set at $1,500 surety with conditions of stay away from the incident location and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Nothing further.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Griffith is 38 years old, Your Honor, and he has a child who resides in Minnesota. And he's been doing the odd jobs for the last few weeks here in Georgia. He wanted to start his new life here in Georgia. However, because he does not have ID, he has been having very difficult time to find a job. And yet, due to his disability, he is able to get some disability checks and also food stamps. Therefore, he's not going to be qualified for our service. And my representation will end at the end of this bond hearing. He actually resides at shelter at this point. So I plan to send social worker services to get more housing resources where he can afford. And we would like to request for a signature on bond. And that's it, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to leave the bond where it is, a $1,500 good bond. Stay away from the Walgreens on Peachtree Street, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. I would also like to put Mr. Griffith on next week's, Ms. Bridgewater, can we put him on next Tuesday's SAP calendar? I know we normally try to put him 2 weeks out, but I want to see Mr. Griffith on my calendar in a week. Can we get that done?
Absolutely.
Okay. If he does not get out of custody by that time. So I prefer to move this up. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right, good luck to you, Mr. Griffith.
You too, Judge.
Thank you.
Next, Your Honor, we have position number 4, Mr. Humphrey, Daniel Humphrey.
Good afternoon, Mr. Humphrey. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Humphrey, you've been charged in case 22 CR 008521G with simple battery, family violence, disorderly conduct, and a second simple battery, family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
It's 12th arrest. Last arrest was in 2020, theft by deception, identity theft fraud. Before that was suspended license, suspended registration, 2020, 2019 suspended license, 2019 DUI, 2018 simple battery dismissed, And he's on probation in DeKalb County. Forgery in the second. 1, 2, 3, 4 counts. 1 count forgery in the first. I don't see any violence in the history. Besides that one that was dismissed.
All right, thank you. Ms. Sari?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place at 1031 Virginia Avenue in Hapeville. The victim in this case, whose name is Kayla Blades, she made a call to the front desk of the incident location and whispered to someone for them to call the police. And feeling that the victim was in danger, the staff went to the hotel room and conducted a wellness check. The victim then shooed the clerk away, but she did mouth for them to call the police. And officers then responded to this incident location where they found the victim and the defendant in a room together, and this defendant was asleep. At that time, both parties were then separated, and the victim informed officers that the defendant punched her in the eye the day before this incident. She stated that the defendant is not allowed at her mother's home due to his abuse towards her. And on this date, she and the defendant were together so he could see their son. He then got upset with her and told her, he got upset with her because she asked him to give their child some water. And then he poured the water and soda on this victim, and he also slapped her. The officer did note that they saw swelling to the victim's face. However, they were not able to determine whether the swelling was from the day before or if it was from this incident, which is why we're only charging it as simple battery at this time. And she has mentioned to the officers that there were previous acts of violence, one offense where he swelled and blacked her eye in the past, and she had to receive stitches. As we've heard from pretrial, the defendant is on probation from 2018. That's 5 years probation. So he definitely has violated that. The state's recommendation in this case is an $8,000 surety bond. That's $3,000 on each simple battery family violence, $1,000 on the disorderly conduct, a no contact with the victim, a stay away, 1-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Humphrey, actually, the last name has to be spelled with Humphrey instead of B as a boy. And yet he has been here in Georgia 26 years, and he is working as a music engineer and producer. He's been self-employed for about 5 months, and because it is still new, relatively new business, he is not doing well in terms of financial savings or resources. So he's qualified for public defender's services. Even after today's bond hearing, we will continuously represent him. And my client is not object to stay away or no further contact with the complaining witness because they already broke up and there's no reason to stay together. He just want to make sure that he has a third party transfer to have a visitation to his child who is only 1 year old. That's the only thing that he cares. And today is actually his son's birthday. So 1 year old birthday is today. So he's very eager to go there and celebrate with him separately. But anyway, we would like to request for signature on bond if Your Honor is not qualified to give him a signature on bond because of but he doesn't have a violence history, which was 2018 that was dismissed. We would like to request that maximum $1,000 good bond. Thank you.
And Your Honor, briefly, just to state, the 2018 battery family violence, that was against a different victim. The state did dismiss that, but however, we just would like you to keep in mind that cases are dismissed for different reasons, not just the fact that we don't want to move forward with the case. So we would ask that you consider that, as well as the victim's admission to officers that this is not the first violent incident.
For the
Your Honor,
disorderly-
I'm sorry, you went out for a second.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Simple batteries, it's gonna be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail for each count. For the disorderly conduct, $1,000 signature bond through the jail, makes for a total of a $7,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the 1031 Virginia Avenue address, no further contact with Ms. Blades, third-party transfer of any minor children, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Mr. Humphrey, let me make it clear that no contact means absolutely no contact. You can't have any phone contact, personal contact, internet contact, social media contact, no contact. If you want to visit your child, you're going to have to arrange for a third party to make those arrangements on your behalf, as you're to have no contact with Ms. Blades whatsoever. You understand me?
Sure.
Okay, very good. Good luck to you, sir.
And Your Honor, for the record, the state will object to a signature bond in this case. Just stating that for the record.
Okay. So noted. Next.
Your Honor, we can go back to Alpharetta Jail.
Okay. Who do we have at the Alpharetta Jail? And who do we have?
Worthy.
Okay, it's Justin. Is that Justin Worthy?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Worthy. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Worthy, you've been charged in case 22 CR 008522E with criminal trespass and loitering and prowling. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
15 total. Last arrest was in August, probation. May, trespass. September 2021, trespass. July 2021, trespass. Got battery convictions from 2017. 2015, trespass. Given false name conviction, 2015. 2015, another trespass conviction. 2014, possession of tools for the commission of a crime. That was not presented to a grand jury. 2014, failure to appear. Let me keep going.
You're good. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Ms. Sari?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, officers responded to the La Quinta Inn located at 1350 North Point Drive in Alpharetta. Hotel staff informed officers that the defendant had been coming onto the property even after he was asked to leave and not come back. The staff said they do constantly deal with the defendant trespassing for weeks at a time, and that he hangs out in the hallways and staircases inside of the hotel without purchasing or attempting to purchase a room. We've heard the history from pretrial, Your Honor. He does have a recent conviction from last year for criminal trespass. That's case number 21CR 005163E. That was a different incident location. So he does present a risk of reoffending. The state's recommendation in this case is a $4,000 surety bond. That's $2,000 on each count, a stay away, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Mr. Worthy is 35 years old, and he does have his brother and sister here in Georgia. He is a single, he does not have any children, and he resides alone at Alpharetta, Georgia, Your Honor. And for about a year, he could not work because of his injury, hernia. Before that, he worked at chicken plants, and however, he got injured at home, not at work, so he's not qualified for workers' compensation either. So that really caused significant financial hardships for him. He does have to have a surgery this coming 2023, so he dreams to have better health and get back to work. Right now, he applied for food stamps. However, nothing has been approved yet. As of today, he's qualified for public defender's service. And we would like to request for signature on bonds and also be released to Gwinnett County since there is another hold there. Thank you.
Okay, it's gonna be $1,000 signature bond through the jail on each count, which makes a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Kenta Inn at North Point Drive, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Mr. Worthy, I'm gonna let you sign your own bond to get out, but if you go back to that La Quinta Inn, and they arrest you again, then you won't get a signature bond next time. You understand me?
Yes, sir, I understand.
Okay, very good. Good luck to you, Mr. Worthy.
All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Next, Your Honor, we have position number 5, Mr. McQuarrie, Dontavius McQuarrie.
Good afternoon, Mr. McQuarrie. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. McQuarrie, you've been charged in case 22 CR 008515E with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
19 total. I see a 2016 reckless conduct conviction, 2013 FTA simple battery, 2014 FTA simple battery. Possession of a firearm during a commission, by a convicted felon, that was not possible. 2017 probation, 2018 probation, theft by receiving, 2019 arrest, felony shoplifting. That was July 2019, September 2019, felony shoplifting. That was conviction. 2020 possession of tools, criminal attempt to commit a felony. Got an open case from 2020, criminal damage to property, 2nd degree, possession of tools, felony theft by taking. That's out of Brookhaven. May 2022, simple battery. And June 2022, felony theft by taking, criminal damage to property. Those cases are open.
All right, Ms. Dillingham.
Yes, Your Honor. On December 26, 2022, officers were dispatched to the Georgia Tech Hotel located at 800 Spring Street Northwest. Here, the defendant, the victim, Courtney Blackwell, and her daughter were staying when a verbal argument escalated into defendant striking Miss Blackwell in the face with his hand. When officers responded, they noted that they could observe a mark under her left eye. And Your Honor, due to the extensive criminal history with 4 prior arrests for simple assaults, as well as a current open case in 2021 for simple assault against the same victim, Miss Blackwell, we are going to ask for a $4,000 surety bond, a stay away order from Miss Blackwell's address that we have on file, which is 2151 Green Forest Drive. No further contact with Miss Blackwell, and no alcohol, drugs, or firearms.
Dillingham, do you know the conditions of the previous bond? Was there a stay away in regards to that bond for the aggravated assault?
There was a no further contact, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 33 years old. He's a native of Atlanta. He tells me that he is self-employed at the moment, primarily because it's not easy to for him to find employment. He is the father of a 14-year-old child. Your Honor, he denies that he struck the complaining witness at all. He said that they just got into a verbal argument, but he did not strike her. Your Honor, my client is not in a position to pay any significant bond. And while we acknowledge that he does have some history, he definitely doesn't have the money to pay a big bond. So I would ask the court to give him a reasonable bond so he can get out of jail, get back to work. He does not live with the complaining witness and has not lived with her at all.
Would you like to speak to the stay away in the with the aggravated assault allegations?
Your Honor, he tells me that she came to see him.
Okay.
Your Honor, that does not negate the fact that he put his hands on her. I think
Well, he
that,
denies that he put his hands on her at all.
well,
Okay,
retrial arrest with the similar charge tends to suggest otherwise.
so let me just say, Mr. McCreary, regardless of if Ms. Blackwell came to see you or not, you're not to have any contact with her whatsoever, so that I know that I have made that clear to you. No contact means no contact whatsoever, no phone contact, no personal contact, certainly. No internet contact, no social media contact, absolutely no contact whatsoever. As such, it's going to be a $3,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Blackwell. Stay away from the Green Forest Drive address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Who do we have next?
Next, we have position number 6, Mrs. Cedric Page.
Good afternoon, Mr. Page. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Page, you've been charged in case 22 CR 008516G with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
23 total. Last arrest was December 2021. Fade to
Was she,
Ms. Wheeler, I'll need for you to mute yourself, please. Can we get Ms. Wheeler muted, please? Go ahead, Mr. Howard. I'm sorry.
last arrest was December 2021. FTA, theft by taking, driving without a valid license. 2020 FTA. 2019, the initial theft by taking, suspended license. 2014 probation. Another 2014 probation. 2012 FTA. Giving false name, NOLO. 2011. Real quick. I say he got an open driving without a valid license, possession of open container. That's 19 SC 173336. And another open driving without a valid license and suspended license. You want me to keep going?
You're fine. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Ms. Dillingham?
Yes, Your Honor. This case occurred on August 18th, 2022, where officers responded to a domestic dispute at the victim Karen Dennis's residence located at 380 Martin Street, Atlanta, Georgia. Your Honor, the defendant punched Miss Dennis in the face unprovoked. And due to the severity of the injury, it caused a black eye and a serious blood clot to her left eye, which police observed when they arrived. Miss Dennis did have to be transported to the EMS or transported to Grady Hospital via EMS. There she was treated for her injuries, where it was also noted that she had severe damage to her eye socket. We're still pending medical records to determine whether or not that damage was permanent. And due to the severity of that injury, we are asking for a $7,500 surety bond. And of course, a no further contact with Miss Dennis and a stay away order from her residence, 380 Martin Street.
Ms.
Your
McLeod?
Honor? Yes, Your Honor. My client is 53 years old. He denies that he struck Miss Dennis at all, Your Honor. In fact, he tells me that what happened was that she tripped and fell over a chair. And because of that, she was actually screaming. So someone called the police. It was not Miss Dennis who called the police because he did not hit her. She tripped and fell over a chair. My client does have some history, Your Honor. We acknowledge it, but his history really has not been violent based on what I heard pre-trial say. He is not in a position to pay any significant bond, Your Honor, because of the kind of work that he does. He really doesn't have much money. I would ask the court to consider giving him a reasonable bond so he'll be able to get out of jail and get on with his life, Your Honor. I had tried to reach the alleged victim, but I was unable to reach her. But my client had told me that she would verify that This is a situation where she tripped and not that he hit her. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Dillingham, has anyone from your office contacted Ms. Dennis?
We have contacted her, Your Honor. We were not able to get in touch with her yet.
Okay. It's going to be a $3,000 good bond, no further contact with Ms. Dennis, stay away from the Martin Street address, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Page.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, what was that, bond amount?
3,000 good.
All right, my apologies.
No problem.
Next, we have position number. Next, we
I'm
have
sorry.
position number 11, Mr.
Okay.
Orlando Wheeler.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wheeler. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Wheeler, you've been charged in case 22 CR 008524F with improper erratic lane change and hit and run. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6 total. Last arrest was 2008 for DUI. And that was dismissed. Before that was 1997 simple battery.
Okay. Ms. Dillingham?
Yes, Your Honor. This case occurred on November 11th of 2021. The victim in this case, Alvin Young, was traveling westbound on Memorial Drive when defendant failed to maintain his lane and sideswiped Mr. Young's vehicle. Defendant fled this scene, but due to photographs, the police were able to track down the defendant and arrest him. Your Honor, there was a previous arrest for DUI in 2008. And although the other previous arrests were in the 1990s, they did involve driving while license suspended. And for those reasons, the state has a belief that the defendant's a threat to the public while on the road. And so we are asking for a $4,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, it's going to be a $500 good bond for each charge, makes it a $500 signature bond for each charge, which makes it a $1,000 signature bond through the jail, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, good luck to you, Mr. Wheeler.
Next, Your Honor, we have position number 12, Mr. Wiggles, Ernest Wiggles.
Good afternoon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Wiggles. You have been charged in case 22 CR 008523E with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
42 total. Last arrest was in October, failed to appear. January, shoplifting, that's open. July 2021, battery DV conviction. The case number is 22 SC 180326. And he's on probation for that. 2020 simple assault arrest, 2019 shoplifting, 2017 cruelty in the third battery DV, aggravated assault strangulation. The ag assault was dismissed. I'm not sure about the other two. They're not on the GCIC. Got failed to appear, 2013. Another failed to appear, 2013. 2012 probation violation. 2010 probation, underlying charges, ag assault, a deadly weapon. Came from a 2003 case. 2010
Okay.
stop. Okay.
That's good, Mr. Howard. Thank you. Ms. Sowry?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, officers responded to 945 Ralph D. Abernathy Boulevard in Atlanta. They spoke with the victim, whose name is Wanda Watts. She stated that she was speaking with a female friend when the defendant overheard them and thought that she was speaking about him. He then pushed her to the ground and she fell forward, hurting her knee. Your Honor, the state's recommendation in this case is a $10,000 security bond. The reason we are going high on this bond is because that 2021 battery family violence conviction that we heard from pretrial, that was against this same victim. This defendant was issued a no contact order in October of last year by Judge Borski. And our current incident at issue was after he was issued that no contact order. So he did violate that and he picked up a new charge. He does also have that 2022 FTA, so he presents a risk of flight. Due to the cases, he does present a risk of intimidating this victim and a risk of reoffending. So again, the state's recommendation is a $10,000 surety, no contact with the victim, a stay away, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 51 years old. He tells me that this person was someone who he had previously been in a relationship with. He acknowledges that there was a case between them some time ago and that he was ordered to stay away from her. What he tells me, Your Honor, is that he was with his current girlfriend when she approached him and began an argument with him in which she contacted him, in which she hit him, I'm sorry, because she was upset when she saw him with this new person, Your Honor. He denies that he hit her. In fact, he tells me that she definitely was the aggressor and he left the scene. The incident happened very close to where my client actually lives. And my understanding is that she does not live in that particular area. So she came to where he was or close to where he actually lives, Your Honor. And that is how this incident happened. And I do acknowledge that my client has some history. But in this instance, this was not a situation. They're no longer in a relationship since the last incident, Your Honor. And she was the one who came to where he was. I would ask the court to take that into consideration in setting his bond. A $10,000 surety bond, he's in absolutely no position to pay that bond, Your Honor. He tells me that he works as a barber and he sometimes works part-time in a store. So a $10,000 bond is way beyond his ability. Nothing further, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, I did want to inform the court that in 2017, there was another battery family violence conviction against the same victim today. That case number is 17 SC 151257. So this is the third incident with this victim that I can see so far. So that's why we are again asking for that $10,000 surety bond, even with him having prior convictions, him being issued no contact orders. He is still violating those orders and picking up new cases. Nothing further.
On no further contact with Ms. Watts. Stay away from the 945 Ralph David Abernathy address. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Your Honor, that is where he lives. It's actually a commercial building, but he lives there. It's not, she doesn't live there.
Okay, so he lives at 945 Ralph David Abernathy?
Yes, Your Honor, that's what he tells me.
Okay, so he's to stay away from Ms. Watts's residence. And it's a $5,000 good bond. All right, good luck to you, Mr. Williams.
Your Honor, position number 4, I have a question about position number 4. He has some extra charges, some traffic charges that weren't on the calendar. What are we going to do with those?
This is Mr. Humphrey.
Yes.
And was this your client, Ms. McLeod?
No, Your Honor.
No, whose client is Mr. Humphrey?
This is my client, Peter Kim.
Okay, do we have the traffic charges? Do we know about the traffic charges, Ms. Sari?
Yes, Your Honor. The charges were filed, and also that case was accepted to the DA's office. It involves felony fleeing.
Oh, okay, all right, so that'll be felony court.
Okay.
All right,
Position number 7 and position number 9 are waivers.
okay, all right, so thank you, we appreciate it this afternoon.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. So you want to do position 7 first? Is that fine with everyone? This is Mr. Richards, terroristic threats. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
I got first arrest, I think. Hold on. I got first arrest.
Okay.
Andrew Richards, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Sari?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident took place at 5160 North Bridges Drive in Alpharetta. Officers responded to this incident location and spoke with the victim, whose name is Pius, that's Pius. Last name is Antangcho. The victim stated that the defendant threatened to beat him up if he left the trash bags out of the kitchen. And there was a third-party independent witness whose name is Vincent Strickland. He did witness the threat and informed officers of the same. The state's recommendation in this case is a $3,000 surety bond, a stay away, no contact with the victim or the witness, 1-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Is 5160 North Bridges Drive, is that an apartment complex?
I am not sure. I can pull
I
it.
thought it was a house that he was renting.
Oh, is he not still there, Ms. Kim?
I mean, the landlord is not, he does not reside there, Your Honor. My client resides there.
And
Okay.
we have that the victim lives there and they both actually live together.
I was told that Mr. Pias has another location. This is his rental property, Your Honor.
Have
And
you
of
all has anyone spoken with Mr. Pius? Or,
No, we don't have Mr. Pias' contact information, so I was not able to talk to him.
and what about you, Ms. Sari?
I'm sorry, I'm looking that up right now. The victim in this case is the landlord of the property and the defendant is a tenant. So in this case, he would be the owner, Your Honor. And we would ask for the defendant not to return. The victim stated that the defendant has only lived there for 2 weeks, and that he does not want the defendant to return. And a one-time escort is fine.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, will you just speak to, I'm going to give him a signature bond, Ms. Kim, just speak
Yes.
to the living arrangements. I mean, in that regard, I mean, my inclination is that, I mean, a landlord he cannot have no further contact on one hand, but the landlord's he's gonna have to go through the eviction process to get him out. But I don't know how Mr. Richards is gonna communicate with Mr. Pius regarding, does anybody else live there, Ms. Kim?
I don't think so, Your Honor.
All right, what are you asking the court for? As far as that goes?
One-time law enforcement officer to verify that Mr. Pias and Antango does not live there, and then he can return home.
Well, it sounds like he doesn't live there, but he owns the place. So
let him do the eviction process, Your Honor. I'm sure there is a lease.
Right.
The state would ask for a stay away, being that the victim is the landlord.
Well, and Mr. Richards has, doesn't have a record. This is his, it sounds like it's a dispute over trash.
That's correct, Your Honor. It's just the victim is stating that he does not want the defendant back. That would be the victim's actual wishes.
Well, if he doesn't want him back, but it's where he lives that he's renting to him. So I mean,
understand.
he's gonna have to go through the eviction process if he wants him out of there.
I understand.
At least that's my so it's gonna be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. no further contact with the alleged victim. I'm going to allow him to go back to his house. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Ms. Kim,
Yes.
Mr. Richards is going to have to figure out a way to communicate with the alleged victim without speaking to him directly. Okay.
Sure. Yes, Your
All
Honor.
right. All right. Who do we have next? Position 9, Mr. Spear. Does he have a record, Mr. Howard?
32 total. Let's see. Got an open case in DeKalb for theft by taking, FTA. On probation in Gwinnett, possession of cocaine with intent. 2016, they gave him 1 year to serve, 7 years probation. Also on probation for trafficking cocaine. He has a bench warrant as well. Do you want me to keep going?
A bench warrant out of where?
Fulton, I think. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, out of Fulton.
Okay. Ms. Dillingham?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on December 26th while on patrol. Officers observed defendant holding a marijuana cigarette outside of a store, and they approached him. As they got closer, the defendant dropped the cigarette and ran on foot. The officers asked defendant to stop. He did not. He continued running, to which officers had to deploy their tasers. And when they detained defendant, they found marijuana on his person, less than 1 ounce, and drug-related objects. For that reason, Your Honor, we are asking for a $1,500 signature bond, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Is the breakdown 500 per charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection to any of that, Ms. Kim?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay. $500 signature bond for each count, makes it a $1,500 total signature bond through the jail. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And I believe that completes the calendar. As soon as Ms. Bridgewater is ready, we can go over the calendar.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be January the 10th. Position number 1 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 total good bond. Position 2 is reset to the SAP calendar for next Tuesday with a $1,500 good bond. Position 3 is being reset to the SAP calendar for this Thursday, December 29th. Position 4 is reset further notice with a $7,000 total SOB through the jail. Position 5 is being reset to the SAP calendar with a $3,000 good bond. Position 6 going to the SAP calendar with a $3,000 good bond. Position 7 reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 8 reset further notice with a $1,500 SOB through the jail. Position 9 is reset further notice with a total $1,500 SOB through the jail. Position 10 reset further notice with a $1,500 SOB through the jail. 11 reset further notice with a total $1,000 SOB through the jail. Position 12 is going to the SAP calendar with a $5,000 good bond. And 13 reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through the jail. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
Nope.
All right.
Okay.
That's
All right.
it.
Yeah, you here tomorrow?
I'm going to be at the Orca calendar down at 9 o'clock. So not this calendar, but I'll be down there.
All right.
Happy New Year, everyone. Y'all be safe if I don't see you.
You too. Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you next time.
All right.
I'll be waiting on you, Ms. Bridgewater.
I'm coming. Here I come.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.